going to record. And I'm going to turn on the AI. Okay, you can
Excellent.
open now.
Thank you very much for getting together today, everybody, for our Economic Development Committee briefing. First up, we have an update from Paul. So, Paul, I'd like to
Certainly, thank you.
lead away.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, I think the last 3 months have been a real sort of concentration of effort insofar as obviously we've developed the economic development strategy, and then we've been developing a website, which is our tools to actually the tool that I'll use to sell that strategy. And in the meantime, I've actually pulled together an advisory panel. That advisory panel, you've got the list in front of you there, the people from Dargaville, people from Mangawhai, community, iwi, and a whole variety of different people with different viewpoints. So the advisory panel role is basically implementing the economic development strategy. We had our first meeting on the 27th of February, and that was quite a feisty meeting. The people that I've put into the advisory role panel are really quite direct red people, and it didn't let me down insofar as it was quite fiery, and that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want it to be a talk fest. I wanted it to be a real, a real sort of direct conversation that would implement the economic development strategy we've laboured over for the last few months. So I've had some conversations about stakeholders. So the variety of stakeholders that we've employed to look at this strategy and to be involved with and be consulted with have been broad and varied, right the way from business leaders, community leaders, and so on and so forth, and obviously Maori as well. So I've just listed there the advisory. I won't read the whole report that I've written, but you can see that the panel consists of a whole variety of people: Stephen Alls, Sharon George, Ian Margam, Snow Tane, and Ebony Paul. And in our first meeting, which was, like I said, on the 27th of February, we talked about a business association update from Mangawhai. So it's good that we can liaise with people from the business community. And I got an update on where that's from the chairman, Stephen. Where we're at with that. We looked at the economic development strategy and how we might review that, and whether that's quarterly or 6 monthly or annual sort of review. But we kind of, the feedback that I got from the advisory group was that the economic development strategy was really more tourism focused than anything else. There's no primary industries in there, so I'll take that on the chin and say, look, that's what we did first cab off the rank. We need to evolve that strategy as we go forward, and so on. The bit we're going to be talking about at the moment is the investment website, which has been the focus of my efforts for the last few months. There's no quick way of doing that. Misty Sanson has been an incredible resource for me. We've employed a great branding company to come up with the ID, and that has really taken on a life of its own. And from a conversation that Misty and I had probably just over a year ago to talk about developing this website, we think it's become a great sales tool for the Kaipara, something it's never had before. And that will be launched in April this year, and Misty will talk about that shortly. The Gulf Tourism Initiative, led by Mike. I appreciate that you've got your first sort of video out now, Mike. Have you?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's ongoing,
and got a meeting next week, which will then disclose it all to everybody.
Yeah.
As stage one.
Yeah, fantastic. So that's moving along. Film industry development, we are getting quite a few inquiries for film inquiries to film in the district. So I've been developing a film policy and strategy that we can implement and have as a landing page on the KDC website, and obviously it'll be on our new website as well. and so capitalise on all those opportunities that we get for film inquiries, and have a thorough process that we can go through when anybody makes an inquiry into the region. Now, just to say that we started off with a blank sheet of paper, so we're putting all of these policies in place bit by bit, and they're all starting to happen. And like I say, the website will be our shop window and be our sales tool for all of this going forward. Housing and workforce development. We've joined the workforce development program strategy, which is run by MSD. So I've got a meeting with them tomorrow, Thursday, and that will be our part in that development of how we can support workforce expansion and so on and so forth. We talked about key sectors, identified aged care, construction, primary industries. Then I talked about the revisiting the strategy priorities. So I've mentioned that it was already tourism heavy, so we've moved on from that. Business attraction. The idea is to put in our shop window some of the silver ferns and the Fonterras that we deal with, and look to create between 200 and 500 jobs in the region through other businesses that we can attract to the region. We've got yet to identify those businesses, but my role has gone from looking to try and get people to actually focus on really targeting companies that I can attract to the region. And how I go about that is there's all sorts of different ways of doing that, but networking is probably the main one to identify who's looking at Kaipara. I've got to say that there aren't many companies lining up to start businesses in the Kaipara, but we've got to go and find them. And I think the website will be that shop window, which will give a different impression of how the Kaipara looks to people so that they can try and invest in this area. We had another question on the advisory board that was business inquiry follow-up. So, over the last sort of 5 years, who has actually contacted council? We haven't got a history of those people. We haven't got a history of those businesses that contacted council. So who are they? Can we go back through those and trawl and try and get some phone numbers so I can give them a call and say, why did you think about looking at Kaipara? And I can then start to follow up and try and cajole them to come into the Kaipara to start a business or to invest. One of my main priorities is looking at high net worth individuals. I've got to get a source for those yet, probably through New Zealand Trade and Enterprise, and try and find out who those individuals are so I can make contact with them. I think I'd said previously that, the way I get a high net worth individual was make contact with them in their home country, look after their journey to New Zealand. Look after their journey to New Zealand and look after them and introduce them to various people they need to talk to in the region to start their business, and then take them to Immigration New Zealand on their way home and try and just secure that investment inquiry. Infrastructure and social development. We looked at employment and training hubs, community centres, affordable transitional housing. We talked about liaising with ITM and various companies in Dargaville area to try and get some apprenticeships going. And the action items that came out of the advisory group, which was only held for an hour and a half, so we covered quite a bit of ground, was finalise the branding and content for the investment website, develop and publish film production guidelines, explore primary industry integration into strategy, which I've not done, which I need to do. Engage with landowners for housing solutions, especially with the district plan that's coming out shortly. I'm not sure when that gets hopefully adopted. Identify skill gaps and training partnerships and conduct a mid-year strategy review. So that's kind of my take on the last 3 months. And looking forward, obviously, is to shift from a reactive to a proactive stance and try and attract people into the district. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. I've disappeared and come back. If I disappear again, I'll just get Mayor Jepson to seamlessly take the chair and carry on without me. So thanks for your report. Do we have, I know that there have been some questions already, but do we have any questions or comments from committee members just
August.
sing out? Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Yep, I will. Thank you. I've been looking forward to hearing something because I did miss the meeting in February because of being in hospital, but that's all right. What do I think? I guess what I'm missing with this is real tangible focus. And I know it's hard, you start off, and we talked early on a year ago about a number of areas. When I see things like addressing accommodation shortages, that's absolutely right, to support workforce expansion. Now, as far as I'm not aware of what we're requiring more accommodation for workforce expansion as yet, except for one place. There might be more, and I mean, I think that does relate to Tara Iti TRI, and we've known about that for quite some time, and we've wanted to do things in this area. So I'd be interested to know what other organisations are we looking for accommodation to support workforce expansion?
Yeah, I think it's it's all about getting the right infrastructure in place to develop the economy as we go through. And I think I'd rather focus on trying to get a company here and then try and sort out the problem, because we haven't.
Exactly my point. Is that who have we got? So that is where I'm coming from. It's I mean, you've done a lot of work with getting this where it is, but to get that focus in some organisation, or what other businesses are the Brethren looking for more accommodation for their staff? I believe they keep putting people on.
Well, as you know, Mike, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and CEO, we all meet with the Brethren every 3 months, and that's been quite conducive, I think, to furthering where they're at. We get they're very well connected. They're great businesses. They probably are responsible for a third of the GDP in the Kaipara, and they're very important. And you'll notice that I've not really mentioned them in the strategy, but they should be part of it. As you identified that, I'm talking to Maori, and that Brethren are just another part of that community that I need to be conversing with. And it's I suppose it's a function of time, Mike. To be honest, it's quite hard to allocate time, but the way I've looked at it quite simplistically, is that the economic development strategy, which was endorsed by council last August, the action plans in there really are the drivers for the advisory panel to say, look, I want you to target 20 film companies this month, or give me real hard focus, so that I can come back to the Economic Development Committee and say, look, I was tasked with doing this, I've achieved this, and this was the outcome.
Yeah, and you need tools like the website, etc., to move things along. And so now there'll be a big uplift, I'm hoping, in tangible outcomes.
Mike, can I just interject there for a moment, just to cover off on your point about the accommodation being, was there any demand anywhere other than Mangawhai, Tara Iti and TRI Links is what you said. We are told that there is definitely a shortage of employee accommodation, particularly for Dargaville, and we've heard it specifically from the business community there, that they can't bring people in because they can't accommodate them, and people are having to come from Whangarei and all that sort of stuff. And so what is the answer there? Well, there's more than one piece in this puzzle, and one of those pieces is going to be going to the community on the 28th of April with the notification of the proposed district plan. And so what that will do, particularly for Dargaville, is open up much more residential zoning. We've got the 2 plan changes, but we'll also have this rural lifestyle zone, which is a first as well, which allows for different choices in terms of accommodation. So it's a little bit of a chicken and an egg situation we've got there. We need to make it possible to create that accommodation so that people can come in there, so that the businesses can expand. And it's not going to happen overnight, but we have been actively working towards that for 2.5 years, and we're just landing that now. So, and as far as Mangawhai is concerned, you know, it's not just Tara Iti and TRI Links. It's also, you know, it's hospitality employees that can't afford an expensive house, or possibly can't even afford to rent and share sometimes. But it's also places like New World, who are employing a lot of younger people.
Yep.
And so as these places start to grow more and expand, we do need to look at that accommodation. And so as you've quite rightly identified, there is an area issue there at Mangawhai, but at Dargaville has a different sort of an issue that we're addressing as well. I know that Craig's got his hand up. Did you want to comment on the same thing, Craig, or did you coming in with something else?
Yeah, I did. Same thing. Funny enough, I had a cup of coffee with a bunch of people that went to Queenstown last weekend for 3 or 4 days holiday. And they were saying what's happened down in Queenstown, because they have desperately short of worker accommodation down there too, of course. A lot of people are putting multi units on their sections, and they're renting them. And I would imagine with this 70 square metre rule they've brought out, that you're going to get a hell of a lot of people who are going to put another unit on their property, and they'll rent to those young people at a reasonable rate, hopefully. So that could be another thing that steps up, you know.
Yeah. Thanks, Craig. Did you want to carry on, Mike? You had some more.
Yeah. And thank you for your points. And I guess here is something that's come out of what you've said that is more specific. And yes, I talked to Scott from New World the other day, and he's got other issues, but certainly people there. Now, do we have a list of all the businesses that have put their hand up in Dargaville and said that they need accommodation for their staff? That's the whole point, is it getting some focus and some tangibility in what do they need? Then we've got something to go with the tools, as you say, Jonathan, that we now got. Well, hopefully will come out in the next few months with a district plan. Great plan. But we got some infill. I got 2 other points, and I think that what you also say, or what the panel have said, is that there is a tourism focus. I think is very logical, and it is, you know, the low-hanging fruit. It is there. There are a number of things. We all said early on that probably tourism was our main focus. So there are some elements involved in that. So I don't discourage that, but yes, it would be good if the timing was right and the facilities and the circumstances are right to expand from that. But I don't think we should shy away from the fact that tourism is number one, and we certainly have more support through Northland Inc. in that area. 2 other things on specifics. There's absolutely no mention about the dire situation of our medical requirements here, which we had on as a priority early on. So I would like an update on. I know that you had some conversations, Paul. We're trying to move things along.
Yeah.
Good manner. I don't know why it's not here.
Yeah, I have spoken with Daryl Trigg from Trigg Construction, who was building the site in Mangawhai, and I spoke with Lloyd Barton the other week about the fact that they've not started, they've not commenced. So I've got to make that phone call yet, Mike, to find out where they're at. They were looking for an extension on resource consent to begin build, but I don't know why it's not been started. But it is imminent. Apparently, funding is in place. So I don't see an issue. So I'm not overly worried about that, Mike, but I'm a bit concerned as to why it really hasn't started yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's good to have an update. You know, rather than us go chasing around there.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I do think that the jungle drums would suggest that there is a need for a group meeting of interested parties, because there are other people around that are wanting to do something and they need a real push along. And Ian Morgan has been a saint in
course.
getting some of that going. So, that there's two options. If these guys don't start first, they're going to miss out.
Yeah, they are.
But what we do is we do need it. And any word on accommodation?
I haven't got, apart from talking to Dargaville Community Association, which are looking at a place down at Bailey's Beach. I have not got an update on accommodation at all.
Okay, so that's just a couple in there. Now I can probably ask this in this environment. No, I probably can't. So let's just hold that, and I'll follow up with you.
Okay.
I mean, I know that Ron Manderson, our illustrious elected member, is getting on a bit, but he has consistently talked about contacts that he has for the high wealth people from overseas wanting to come here. I've sent you his contact number, phone numbers, and things like that.
I've not followed that up, Mike. No, I haven't. No, I haven't followed it up. No.
No. That is another option. I mean, I think that I'm thinking that we want tighter rein on options that have some legs, rather than a big wide focus.
Yeah, that's. I'll just go back to where I started. So writing the economic development strategy, getting the tools to attract people here with the investment website, and then the advisory panel, which gives me real focus, and then me reporting back to you on exactly what I've been targeted with doing or charged with doing, and then delivering upon that. I can't see. Otherwise, it becomes a scattergun approach where I just do a little bit here, a little bit there, and get absolutely nothing done.
Yeah.
I've had to be real. I've had to put the blinkers on and almost ignore the noise,
Yeah.
to enable stuff to get done. And with only working part time, and I don't use that as an excuse. It's just a fact of the way it is. But I feel that now I've got the advisory panel in place, and I've appointed 5 really not high profile people, but really opinionated people who are passionate about the Kaipara. And they won't suffer fools, and they certainly won't suffer me being a fool. So I need to be able to deliver on what they demand that I actually deliver, and that was my sort of mantra going forward. That's exactly how I see the role panning out, given the resource that we've got. I've been very lucky that I've been able to use Misty a lot from Welcoming Communities to help me develop the website, and she's got great contacts within Kindred, which she owns so far as the branding goes. So we've employed every single resource that we could possibly employ to make the Kaipara move forward, and we're a lot further forward now than we were 15 months ago.
We just got Chief Executive Jason Maris. You would like to speak?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Look, I just want to say a couple of things. I appreciate it might be noisy in the background, so apologies. But Councillor Howard, look, we've got limited resource here. We're trying our best in the space we've got as well. And also, just don't forget this is a publicly streamed meeting as well. So if there is any sort of offline chats about catch-ups with other people, then we can definitely do that offline as well. So I just wanted to make that point.
No. And look, let's be really clear. We encouraged at a very early stage that there would be an economic development focus, and we're absolutely supportive of that. That's not. But to your point exactly, Mr. CEO, we've got limited resource, and so therefore I'm thinking that we need to concentrate efforts rather than spread them wide. Certainly, the panel can look in the wide realm, and see. I look down under housing and workforce development. Key sectors identified: aged care, construction, primary industries. All very good, but do we have anything? We do have some aged care starting to happen. But what I'm thinking is, do we have regional initiatives, a heading under regional initiatives and ideas that are best suited to concentrate on certain areas of our district?
I'd say my relationship with Northland Inc. is getting better, and I think that's where the initiatives come from. They have an ear to government and ministers directly themselves. So just as a point in question today, responding to Craig's tourism message today about the funding that's become available, I've spoken to Northland Inc. today, and we've got that being action now and being, so there's lots of as long as we're all connected, and me using Northland Inc. more of a regional focus is going to help. So insofar as the tourism and investment website that we're developing, so I've been talking to Northland Inc. To Tanya Burt about making sure that we align with Northland Inc. so that we've got some kind of similarity with what they're doing, and it's complementary to what they're doing, and vice versa.
Good. I mean, I think that it's a huge asset for us here, and they have been wonderful in what they've done, working with us for Northern Gulf Tourism. So, as I say, we're going to have a follow-up meeting next week and go for it. One last question, if I may. I'm sorry, I'm hogging the floor, but what do we have in terms of stats now of just, to put a picture on, are people coming to the Kaipara or areas of the Kaipara now, and are they coming in bigger numbers than they have, or are they coming in lesser numbers? Has it stabilized? I'm told now that with all this global agitation that's going on, that everything has stopped. Sure, it'll be in a moment of time, but I'm being asked also, what is happening here? Do we have a backlog of people wanting to come in to the territory?
A lot of that information lies with MB. And for privacy reasons, we're not allowed to actually access the high net worth individuals who are looking to come to the Kaipara. We can't access them.
I'm just talking about anybody. What is happening this year versus last year with people coming here and inquiries, real estate, etc.?
The only if you look at the metrics that are in the economic development strategy, so those metrics basically come from Infometrics data, and I'm having you've heard me mention a dashboard previously. I'm having a dashboard developed by Richard, our IT guy, so that we can extract data from the Infometrics data that comes out every quarter, and they're fairly high level statistics, but they're the only ones that we've got. And I think the advisory board asked me to drill down and try and get some that we can that provide some tangible benefits or some tangible information. So the number of meetings that I have, the whole variety of things, and things like what incentives are we giving to businesses and investors to actually come to the Kaipara? Do we have a rates reduction? That's a big issue. Is there something we can do to attract businesses?
Yeah, for sure. Presence, not with a T, with a C.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's the thing. I definitely would like to get. I'll send a note today. Get some information on. I think that people are concerned right now with all the outcome of the tariffs and by the sound of things, real estate has stopped dead.
I was talking to Stephen Owls from Bailey's, and he was saying that they've got so much stock at the moment which they can't shift, and that's a problem in itself.
Hayley's just got a contribution to make. Hayley, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say the environmental scan that comes out at the end of each year that Census feeds into and Infometrics comes out with all that information, Mike. So that feeds into real estate agencies, school attendances, all of those things, births and deaths. So we should have a better view of that when that next report comes out, which apparently is about August.
Is it? Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Great. Okay. Well, thanks everybody, and thank you, Paul, for your continued persistence with this. It's a big job, and it's a very far-reaching job, and I agree with what you have said. We certainly have made some great progress, and we'll keep pushing ahead and try to take things further as we roll along. So we're going to knock off this briefing here now.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks, Jonathan.
Are we going into the workshop now on the same link, or
Yes.
what are we doing?
All right, stay on the same link. I'm just going to stop the live stream. Just give me one moment.